many times have you found yourself in a position where you don't know exactly how certain you are of the future? All right. You don't know whether you'll wake up and you'll see your family on the TV due to a crisis or an incident of racial profiling or police brutality. That is a glimpse of what us as black people have to face. And we realize that we are so vulnerable that we become ultimately dissatisfied with the lack of humane treatments that we feel is well due and deserved, given the level of enthusiasm and the approach and the sacrifices that we have made. Okay, there are many people out there, many systematic practices that still endorse slavery of any kind, and I mentioned it's not a physical it's not something that can be seen. It is a psychological maneuver, it's a social maneuver, it's an economic maneuver, and it is proof that the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding when you see black people are the lowest earning, the lowest educated, and this is exactly what has kept us in doctrine. And I'm letting you know that you take a look into education and what's going on around the world, you will realize that black people have become fed up and are, for the first time ever, speaking up and opening regarding the injustice and the years of oppression and psychological slavery that white America has indoctrinated into us, trying to cause us to be fearful, maneuvering us into lives of poverty, of dissatisfaction, of crime, of guilt, of shame. And then this same country still has the audacity, or this particular region will still blame us for problems that they created themselves within the community. You have many groups in history who have been oppressed by America, and they have received from America a token, and specifically white America, a token which has allowed them to more or less get through these circumstances, rebuild their communities, and live peacefully while also gaining some privacy and some rights. Meanwhile, us black people are still faced with life-threatening circumstances which will not enable us to actually evolve past the barrier that America has kind of created for us, despite discriminating against us the most. You know, I do not care what the white man wrote on a piece of paper. He is smarter than what he writes. He is more deceitful than what he has written. Okay, if we had economic freedom and rights, we would not be having to address these problems related to racial profiling, related to police brutality. But the fact that we still have these problems shows you, as a matter of fact, that we are still under extraordinary and concerning levels of oppression, where we cannot actually solve these problems by relying on the system. And ultimately, if you realize the truth and the apparent nature of what's been going on, you would understand that I mean it when I say we are fed up of eating the thorns and the dead roots of America, while these privileged kids and while kids of other groups are able to walk the streets peacefully. Us as black people cannot even raise issues that happen to us, that have been systematically proven and recorded to happen to us, such as racial profiling, without being accused of some mental illness or any sort of injustice towards the way that we approach the situation. They'll tell you, nope, not this good white person in America, not this good white person. He is so good that he was able to assassinate all your leaders and strip you of your identity and take away you from the true roots and nature of where you come from, to the point where you don't even know how to identify yourself beyond him. You rely on him for pay, and this is the reason why you feel that you have to defend him and you have to defend his country, because he has developed you in such a way that you are in a position that you cannot function without him. He's very clever. He is very clever. And I will let you know that for certain, that you will never find yourself in a position to solve your own problems unless you actually take the necessary procedures and the right tools and resources to defend yourself, defend your family, and by any means necessary, you would have to focus on the core roots of the problems that lie within the community that we are currently faced with. Okay, you will never find justice complaining to a white doctor or white authority. Historically, that has not worked, and you do not need me to jump into examples. How many black men have lost their lives in the hands of authorities? And you know what they did to the authority? The murderer, the life taker, they just slapped him on the wrist and said, "Naughty person, don't do this again." And I guarantee you, those cops that go around taking out black people, they are still getting paid despite being forced to leave the police force. Keep in mind, they're not the only reason they leave or they are forced to withdraw is because we fight. Deep down inside, we know America has no intention of producing justice for the black man for as long as he remains seen as a little child in the eyes of white America, as an incapable child, incapable of leaving these systematic traps. And it is such a shame that such history and research and factual nature has been made evident, and we still remain in denial that white America is problematic for our youth and problematic for our safety and our well-being. Okay? And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. You let them know what happened to your elders. You let them know what happened to the millions of people who worked on the field and sadly were either brutalized, abused in all sorts of ways, forced against their will away from their families and their motherland, and indoctrinated by white culture. And you want to tell me this is a system you want to support? You must be out of your head. And this is exactly why you don't get respect. If they smile in your face, being the white America, they are not respecting you. They are letting you know you are a little dog as far as they're concerned, and you need to know your place and remain as focused to his doctrine and his law and his idea of being the superior being. You have been brainwashed and you don't even know it. Okay? There is a way to really focus on how you are going to maneuver around these traps should you decide to wake up, become fed up, and actually start creating an appropriate life for you, one that can sufficiently provide funding for your children, one that can actually guarantee you that your problems will be heard and considered, one that does not put your life in the hands of somebody who took your race. And the only way you will be able to do this is by understanding that you will need the help of other black people who have also gone forward and made an initiative to challenge some of these present circumstances that we face in North America. And this is the only way that you will ever focus, see progression in your life, because You should not be living like this. You have accepted suffering as a norm. You have not enjoyed any level of appreciating life. You have sadly just self-taught yourself that everything you ever learned is true. And this is your only issue. This is where you really need to understand that you may think like this, but we got brothers and sisters around the world who know that they are kings and queens, who know that they are just as much a human being as anyone else, and nobody has the right to take away their sense of their right to live. Nobody has the right to tell them who they can and cannot be. And if I am wrong, guess what? They will also be wrong, because I'm telling you right now, you don't know who is watching your ability to actually stand up and question some of the immoral practices. I'm not going to actually put forward evidence and suggest that the American approach is a satisfactory approach for the black man, one that pays him the least, one that educates him the least, one that puts him in the poorest neighborhoods, one that does not guarantee him his own rights under the law. And don't tell me I'm wrong. Once upon a time, we weren't even classified as human. And as far as I'm concerned, their view on that hasn't changed. Luckily, I'm not concerned about their view.